right, gang. Welcome back to lecture or chalk talk number 6. All right, I'm excited to have you guys back with me. And today I want to talk to you about a couple of things. One, we're going to talk about the training process, okay? And then we're going to dive into another quick, brief lesson on nutrition, okay? So we've talked liquid calories, and now we're going to talk today on a second big topic in the nutrition realm that I want you guys to think about and focus on. All right, so before we dive into the training process, I have a short story I want to tell you. So about 3 years ago, me and my wife bought our first house. And let me tell you, it was a wreck. I mean, it needed a ton of work. It was crazy how much work it needed, inside and outside of the house. But the yard, the lawn, needed 10 times the amount of attention that the actual house itself needed. So you know, we had budgeted, right? So we renovated the house, right? Just completely renovated it. And we budgeted a fair amount of money there to go in and do some good upgrades to the lawn, some much needed upgrades to the lawn. Well, we started getting towards the end of the project, and my wife said, I kind of want to take that money we allotted for landscaping and put it into the kitchen. And I was like, all right, whatever, you know, I'll just get out there and, you know, and bleed and sweat and grunt and just, you know, do the work myself, right? So that's what we did. And so we moved in, and man, you know, I started going about my task, right? I'd go out and I was pulling bushes out. I, you know, put a chain on the truck and pull the bushes out, and I was chainsawing, and I was just ripping stuff out left and right. And I started noticing something was off. Every time I would come in from, you know, bleeding and sweating and grunting in the yard, I would find that my wife was like kind of aggravated with me, just like, I don't know, she just was like kind of ill with me. And I just could not figure out what was going on. So this went on, you know, it happened once, it happened twice, it kind of kept happening. And finally I was like, Leah, what's the deal? How come every time I come in from yard work, you're like agitated with me? And she said this, she said, well, Clint, all you ever do is rip stuff out. You never put anything back that's beautiful. And I was just like, like I didn't know how to communicate to her that that's what needed to happen. But I knew kind of in my heart that kind of needed to happen first. Like, you have to sort of tear stuff out. Anyway, it occurred to me, all right, I finally was able to put it in words one day. We were actually in Mexico on vacation, and we're sitting at the pool, we're taking in the sun, and I'm reading a business book, and I'm reading, I'm enjoying myself, we're relaxing, and I come across this Picasso quote, okay? And it reads, to create, you must first destroy. And I was just like, yes, I got it. Okay. And I'm like, you know, we're laying there on the chair, and she's laying on her chair. And I go, look, honey, read this quote, you know, and I show it to her. And she's like, what? What's the big deal? And I was like, the yard, get it? To create something beautiful, first you must destroy. Get it? And she just was like, oh, whatever. She's rolling her eyes, right? So, but it made so much sense to me. Now, why am I telling you this story? Well, here's why. This is the way strength training works, guys. This is exactly illustrated in the strength training process, okay? Because here's the deal. In order to create stronger muscles, in order to create a body that's more functional, you first actually have to break it down, okay? And that's exactly what the training process does. That's what strength training does. So when you come into the gym and work out at Creed, you're actually not getting stronger in the gym. That's not what's happening, okay? In actuality, what's happening is we are breaking you down. Okay, we're actually destroying some of your muscle tissue on purpose. Okay, now we're doing it to the right degree, right? We're not overly doing it. That's why we have to kind of be careful. And that's the benefit of the 101 classes. It kind of eases you into the program, but it's necessary. Okay, so you come in, we break you down. Okay, your body is currently capable of this. And then we ask your body to do this. So your body's not quite able to do that yet, right? And so what does that do? Well, it actually breaks your muscle tissue down, okay? Then you leave Creed, you go home, and hopefully you're resting properly. Hopefully you're backing it up with some solid nutrition habits. You're refueling your body, right? And that's actually where you get stronger and where you get more fit. Okay. So it's this constant process of you break down in the gym and then you recover outside of the gym. You come back in, we break you down a little bit further. You go home and you recover. So you start here, we break you down, your body gets better. We break you down some more, your body gets better. Break you down. Okay. So it's this constant process. And this is how over time we help you get super fit. Okay. Now, soreness is a great indicator of this muscle breakdown. So I know you guys have been feeling some soreness from these workouts, right? And you should. Guess what? That's part of the deal. It's part of the process. Every so often I'll hear somebody brag about the fact that they started working out like 2 months ago, and man, at first they were so sore. Oh my God, I'm so sore, but I'm not sore anymore. Boom, and they kind of brag about it, right? Well, they don't really know what they're doing or saying, but in effect, you should continually be sore year round. Coaches are always sore. We stay sore. And the reason that we stay sore is because we're constantly switching up our workouts and we're not allowing our body to plateau and get used to the workout. That's a huge mistake that a lot of people make when they try to work out on their own, especially with strength training, right? Is they just have a limited knowledge of how many exercises there are or how many different ways that we can change up the exercise, change up the range of motion, the sets, the reps, the weight, the rest time, the technique. There's a ton of variables that we can play around with in order to keep your body from plateauing. Okay, so you really should kind of stay sore throughout the year. Now, with that being said, the type of soreness and the degree of soreness that you feel in the beginning is always more than later on when you get more fit. Okay, so at first in the 101, we expect you to be in that kind of 5 to 8 range on a scale of 1 to 10. Now in the future, later on, assuming you continue and you keep working hard and keep striving, that soreness level will go down to anywhere from a 1, to maybe sometimes it creeps up into the 5 or 6, but that's kind of where you're going to stay. All right, you're going to stay probably under 5 most of the time. Okay. So last point regarding this, some people may say, well, Clint, guess what? I can't stand to be sore. I don't want to be sore. Can I get fit just by not doing strength training at all? And my answer to you is yes, you can. You really can. You can get fit by eating super clean and by doing a ton of cardio. You really can get fit that way. But what I've seen in my experience as a coach is that it's a little bit harder to stay fit, to get fit, and to stay fit without strength training involved. It's a little bit harder. What I found is that you almost have to kind of keep up with the Joneses. You almost have to really keep your nutrition on point 100% of the time. You almost have to really continue to do a lot of cardio. So there's not a lot of leeway there. And the benefit of strength training, this is a huge benefit of strength training, is that for every pound of lean muscle you gain on your body, okay, so again, gain a pound of muscle, it's been proven through research that pound of muscle will actually increase your resting metabolism anywhere from 25 to 50 calories per day, okay? Think about this. That doesn't sound like a lot, but think about this. Let's say you gain 10 pounds of muscle, okay? 10 pounds of muscle is really not a lot of muscle if you think about it, all right? Think about it this way. A pound on each arm, a pound on your chest, a pound on your back, 2 pounds on each thigh, right? We're getting pretty close to 10 there, okay? We're not talking about a ton of muscle gain. We're not talking about getting big and bulky and I can't move, I'm big and bulky. That's not what we're talking about here, okay? But if you were to gain 10 pounds of muscle, And the research, again, go back to it, it's been proven. You're burning anywhere from 250 to 500 more calories per day than you're currently burning. And that's whether you work out that day or not. Okay. So again, adding strength training to your regimen, it helps you achieve your fitness goals faster, and it helps you maintain your fitness goals with less effort. Okay. So strength training is huge, and you can get fit without it, but it's much better and more effective to get fit with it as part of your regimen. All right, guys, so moving on to our second big nutrition point, okay? And I want to share with you, and I want to talk with you about carbs a little bit. You guys have heard a ton about carbs, right? There have been a lot of opinions shared about carbs. There's a plethora of information out there, okay? There's too much information to ever read about the subject of nutrition and particular carbs. And we're all familiar with the big fad Atkins diet, which was a zero carb diet that came out and was popular maybe early 2000s or late 90s, whenever it was. Super fad diet, and it was like, carbs are evil, don't eat carbs, right? So here's the deal, and the truth is, hopefully you guys know this by now, that carbs are not evil, okay? They're not. They're your body's main fuel source. Your body prefers to use carbs for energy than any of the other macronutrients, protein or fat, okay? So your body has a preference for carbs. Carbs are not evil, right? Your body needs them. Now, with that being said, all carbs are not created equal, okay? And you guys probably have somewhat of an understanding of this, but I want you to take a look at the glycemic index here. We're going to talk about this for a second, but before I give you a few examples, I want you to understand what the glycemic index is basically. So basically the glycemic index scores different foods based on how quickly that food or that carb is converted to sugar and put into your bloodstream, okay? So, just very basic physiology here. You consume food, your body converts it to sugar, and then insulin is released, okay? Insulin is released and it's taken to the bloodstream. It takes the sugar out of the bloodstream or it takes it to the muscle, right? So it delivers the sugar to the muscle in order for the muscle to use that sugar to produce energy. So here's the thing. If you drink a Coke, right, pretty high on the glycemic index. If you drink a Coke and then come work out at Creed, maybe not that big a deal, right? Because you're immediately using those sugars, and your muscles need those sugars to move, and you're going to burn those things right up. But that's not typically what happens, is it? Typically what happens is, right, we drink a Coke and then we sit down at our computer and we, okay? So your muscle doesn't really need that sugary Coke that you just drank. And so then what happens? Well, if the muscle doesn't need it, then the insulin takes the sugar and stores the sugar as, you guessed it, body fat. Unwanted body fat. Boom, right there on the stomach, back here on the arm, back here on the butt, down here on the legs, right? That's what happens, right? And so the glycemic index is important because, again, not all carbs are created equal. And the goal here is we want to eat foods that are lower on the glycemic index so that we're not having these huge insulin spikes and these huge insulin downers and plateaus. So we don't want to ride the roller coaster of insulin all day long. If you do that, what you're doing effectively is you're kind of keeping yourself in sort of a fat storage state throughout the day. And that's kind of how you end up accumulating a lot of body fat over time, is people just ride this insulin roller coaster and they don't even realize why they're doing it. And they don't realize why they feel so bad. They don't realize why they have energy spikes and then they have energy lulls where they feel like they're going to, fall asleep at their desk. A lot of it, guys, is because they're riding that energy roller coaster, or insulin roller coaster. Some of you guys may be experiencing that right now. So this is the glycemic index. right here. Okay, you can Google this and get a very detailed look at what the glycemic index is and where all the foods fall. But here are just a few examples. We've got our sugary sports drinks at the top, desserts. We've got some cornflakes, white rice. So this higher kind of level here, these are foods kind of in that higher level of the glycemic index. And then we've got foods that are more moderate, okay, right here. And we've got, whole wheat grains, whole wheat bread, whole wheat, pasta, things like that. Oatmeal, muffins. And then down at the very bottom, we've got brown rice, we got beans, we got veggies down at the very bottom of the glycemic index. And so again, we want to be selecting from these choices down here lower on the glycemic index, which create an insulin response that is much more curbed. Okay, it's not this huge peak of insulin response. And that, guys, is going to prevent you from being in a fat storage state throughout the day. Okay. So another big point, kind of point number 2 within this carb talk here is this. Carb timing is important, okay? And so carb timing is important in a couple of ways. So think about it in the first way. Think about this. If carbs are your body's main fuel source, okay, which they are, right? Think about what times of the day you need energy the most. Morning, noon, evening. When do you need energy the most generally? Generally, you need it more kind of earlier in the day, right? You need it more kind of in the morning. You need it more kind of, midday, afternoon. Because generally, what do we do in the evening? Generally, we're kind of, we're toning it down a little bit. We're sort of wrapping things up. We're wrapping up our work. And maybe later on in the evening, 6, 7, 8, we're kind of chilling and relaxing on the couch. We're watching TV, reading, whatever we're doing, right? We're less active in the evening, right? Okay, so if we're less active in the evening, we're more active in the morning, and your body's main fuel source is carbs. When does it follow that you should probably consume carbs? Early in the day, right? Okay, so because here's the danger. If you consume a lot of carbs in the evening, the likelihood that you're going to use those carbs as energy decreases. And the likelihood that you're going to store those carbs as fat increases, okay? So if you consume a lot of carbs, you don't use them, they're going to be converted to body fat. And we don't want body fat, okay? And then the second big reason why carb timing is important is this. Human growth hormone is a very important hormone that your body releases, and it releases it at night, okay? So human growth hormone, you probably familiar with this back when Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, they were abusing the human growth hormone, and they were hitting 70 home runs a year, which was unheard of in pro baseball. Not only that, but their head size was growing. Like, people are like, what's going on with these people? Well, they were supplementing with and abusing human growth hormone, right? And so human growth hormone is an anabolic hormone. It's a natural hormone. Your body releases it naturally when you sleep, and it's a very helpful hormone. It rebuilds your body when it's been broken down throughout the day. But another thing that human growth hormone does is it's a powerful fat burner, okay? So we really want growth hormone, human growth hormone, to be released at its optimal level, all right, every night. That's what we want that to happen, just for our general fitness and well-being. So the problem is, when you eat carbs late in the evening, it actually blunts or decreases the release of human growth hormone, okay? And we don't want that. That's an undesired effect. So if we take out those carbs in the evening, again, now we're maximizing your body's ability to release human growth hormone, and that's a good thing for your body. You're going to recover better at night when you sleep, and you're going to burn more body fat at night as you're sleeping, okay? So point number 3 here regarding carbs is this, okay? If you take a look over here at the standard American diet, okay, it's kind of sad, right? The standard American diet is kind of sad. And it's sad in that 70% of the standard American's diet, 70% of the calories in a standard American's diet are from carbs. 20% of calories are from protein, and only 10% of calories are from fat, okay? And that's not an optimal breakdown, guys. If your goal is to be super fit and lean and not to have a lot of excess body fat, that's not a good percentage to follow there. So at Creed, we promote more of this breakdown here, this percentage. It's more of 40% from carb intake. Again, carb intake lower, right? We do believe in a little bit of a lower carb intake, but not zero. We don't believe that carbs are bad, okay? They're not. They're not evil. Lower though, okay? 40% of your calories from carbs. A little bit higher on the protein intake, okay? 30% of your calories from protein instead of 20%. And then a fair amount higher on fat, okay? So 30% of your calories from dietary fat versus only 10% for the standard American diet, okay? So those are a few big points about carbs. I want you to remember those because they're very important. All right, guys, so to wrap up this video, I want to just talk about the two main ways that you can get help from us in the nutrition realm, okay, here at Creed. So the first way is this. It's basically it's a more simple way. All right, it's not as an intense or hands-on way. All right, and here's how you do it. Basically, you fill out a food log for us, okay, just one day, and we want to see a day that's fairly typical for you. Okay, a normal day. We don't want to see a really good day. We don't want to see a really bad day. We just want to see a fairly standard day, right? So we'll give you one of these food logs. You bring it back into us, okay? And one of the coaches here will make a few marks on it, and really we'll help you identify the one or two big shifts that you need to make, or maybe the one or two big mistakes that you're making that we need to address in order for you to improve and see more results, right? Okay, again, remember it's a journey, all right? And a lot of times people, they want this like detailed plan, this personalized plan, right? And they want that on the front end. And what we've seen is that a lot of times, if we just sort of like write it all out for you and give it to you, that usually overwhelms people and it creates a higher failure rate. So we don't do that, and we don't recommend doing that. It's not the best way to help you. All right. So that's the one most basic, simple way. Fill out a food log and we'll critique it. We'll give you some tips and we'll help you work through some things. The second major way where you can get some help from us in the nutrition realm is to just keep your eyes and your ears peeled for things that me and Corey Little are doing together. So again, he's my partner on Rise Nutrition Solutions, and in my personal opinion, Corey Little's the absolute expert in the area of nutrition and just body transformation from a nutrition standpoint in the area. He really is. He's a solid guy, super high integrity, awesome dude. We've been doing business together for many years. I trust him 100%. Great guy. And his people have seen a lot of success, and Creed members who have taken the next step and kind of used his services for different things have seen incredible success too. Now, people have seen incredible success as well just doing the food log deal and coming and bringing it to us and us giving them tips, and that's fine. But some people just need a little bit more structure. They just need a little bit more structure, and they have more specific questions to be answered, or whatever the case may be. But so me and Corey we'll do challenges from time to time. We'll do a nutrition challenge. From time to time, we'll put on a nutrition seminar. From time to time, we're doing nutrition coaching. Okay, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for kind of more intensive opportunities to really work on and sharpen your nutrition. All right, gang, go crush your workout today. Kill it.